Oh my gosh.
Wakey, wakey, Sam, because we
Yeah,
are
trying to.
live with Telesto's Week at Bungie. This Week at Bungie, episode 31
Yeah, and Speaker Podcat, yeah, 31.
on a
I'm back.
Thursday.
Crazy. That's Telesto. Dun, 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 dun. I'm
So-
Batsam.
I'm Xcalion, and yeah, I think we're. I'm excited. We're doing this a little bit earlier than we would usually do this. Well, we'll see how this works out. I think Thursday's a pretty slow day for both of us. So
Depends, but yeah.
and it's Trials Day, or not Trials. I'm sorry, Twab Day. So
Telesto Day.
Telesto Day. Well, it's something. Let me tell you. Yeah, have you been keeping up with all this Telesto nonsense?
Yeah, it's been funny to see this all going around. Like yesterday was like it was shooting constellations, and then today it was firing like Florence Driver, where all of the little balls were blowing up.
Tuesday it was shooting like constellations. Wednesday it started doing like graviton lance, where it just had like explosions. Right. Man, it was crazy. And apparently also on Tuesday, whenever it was doing the constellations thing, it had different firing modes. Yeah, you could hold the reload button and it would do the shoot. If you shoot it just in front of you, the bolts would slowly disperse out, they would extend out, and they would float up into the sky.
Interesting.
So strange. And then if you hold the reload button, and it's regular firing mode. And whenever you had it in the mode where it did the frolicking, the gun started to spark and smoke.
Interesting.
And then yesterday it started doing this new thing. It still had two different firing modes, but now one of them, the bolts exploded like graviton lance. So very strange, very interesting, and everybody of course started playing into the Telesto nonsense, which was kind of funny. Right. The Destiny 2 account, they started posting like Telesto had taken over. And here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. We'll see in this TWAB later on. Bungie is basically going to tell us, and it's not really a spoiler alert at this point, they're basically going to tell us that it's nothing.
Right.
But this season, right here where we are, we have literally Telesto-themed Ghost Shell, Sparrow, Ship, Telesto Mask for the Halloween event, a Telesto Emblem, which we'll see later on. And then all of this is happening right now.
Yeah. Not to mention, I wrote this TWAB. See, it says Sam.
Sam wrote the TWAB, so he knows.
Not
Sam, I think that's Mercules.
I can barely read it.
Man, but it's very strange. I don't know, man. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Very cool, very strange. We'll dive right into this. I'm just gonna fireball this whole thing right off at you because it's pretty quick. Let's be real. Yeah. Telestos. We mean this week at Bungie, we've got Iron Banner changes to discuss. Last week we went over the changes coming to the abilities in next season, and this week we're hanging out and the few final notes to answer some community questions and sharing some changes to Iron Banner. Winning Trials map. Whisper singing the word anomaly on repeat.
This was the map that you wanted me to vote for, yeah?
Shut up, Sam. You wrote the TWAB. Attention, Guardians, this week's Trials of Osiris will be on Cauldron. I personally was hoping for Anomaly. It's funny here. He talks about being a self-res warlock in D1. So get on out there and try to take the trip to the lighthouse. One thing to call out, if you are still struggling to get your BungieID.net emails, make sure to check out this page, yada, yada, yada. It's basically just telling you if you can't vote to, take care of that stuff, then you can vote. Yeah, it's Cauldron. Not stoked about that. Cauldron is probably my least favorite map to play on just because of the doors. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. You had one job. And it wasn't just me, okay? Prominent members of the community, myself included, of course, ASTRO, Frostbolt, Grenader Jake, Anomaly. Everyone was like Anomaly. What happened?
Have you been on the subreddit for Destiny?
No.
Have you been on the Destiny memes subreddit for Destiny?
Oh, is this Telesto's fault?
No. Everyone's like, vote opposite of what the streamers want.
Oh my god.
And the one post I saw was like, hey, so we're not going to make it to trials anyway, so why should we have all the fun of not getting to play the map? Let's watch the streamers.
I would be more amused if it was Telesto's fault.
I mean, you could say that. They could share the numbers and be like, Telesto wins. But it was also very funny. The community banded together to stick it to all the prominent, players who got Divinity nerfed.
One person got Divinity nerfed.
I know. We've talked about this.
One person.
Anyways.
One person, Sam. Let's not.
Yep. We're gonna move right along here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're aware that Telesto is acting up, and like Telesto, honestly. So we wanted to give a little bit of a tip for new lights that may have not heard of when Telesto acts up. We just toss a blanket over it until we can offer a more prominent fix. Anyway, there's no puzzles or secrets, Bungie says as it twiddles its fingers together maniacally, laughing in a corner, like a dungeon master who says, I totally would open that door. Despite what the machine says, we are in full control of the situation. There is no need to panic, I'm sure. So.
Yep. And we'll go through all this stuff and then we'll talk about it. So, see you soon, Iron Banner. Closing time plays quietly in the background. Closing time. Okay.
I gotta leave my bar.
Right.
It legitimately works. It's hilarious.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. All right, Guardians, the final Iron Banner of the season is upon us. Don't forget to log in next week and finish up your title or even get that guild. We do want to call out a quick note from the team. Interruption, we fixed a bug. We're defeating a primed player on a 5+ streak. We give extra points for each participant player. While it was interesting, this led to a drastic point swing that were a bit too much for our liking, so now it only rewards points to the player that dealt the final blow. We also updated the mode to only show you Iron Banner medals instead of unintentionally showing you Crucible medals. So, player support report, the besto. Ha 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 ha. Telesto, help. Very funny, Bungie. Very funny. Next week in Destiny, as we fight to wrestle control of the in-game message from Telesto, here's what's coming up next week. Stop the Vex incursion on the Glassway. Cool. Iron Banner returns, of course. Shaxx brings momentum control to the Crucible along with the bonus Crucible ranks. Okay, I'll make a point about all that later. Raid Rotator, Deep Stone Crypt. Cool. Dungeon Rotator, Shattered Throne. Not as cool. Okay. We have daylight savings time stuff, basically telling you that resets an hour earlier than it usually is. Telling you, again, the Stadia stuff to basically get cross-save set up or you're going to lose your stuff. Like, if this is happening, like, next month. Not next month, 2 months. 2 months and 2 months. Ether Tank Radio. We are currently investigating an issue causing players to be unable to receive all Ether Tank radio messages when playing across multiple characters. As a workaround for this issue, players should continue to complete their Cells of the Ship Stealer weekly quest mission on a character that has at least one game of chance remaining from Spider, and ensure the key received all radio. Receive all radio messages on this character before progressing the story mission on another. Please note that players must return to orbit between every radio interaction. That's strange. Known issues. While we continue investigating various known issues, here's a list of the latest issues that were reported to us at #help. Telesto. Great. Again, funny, real funny. And as a final note, that's it. That's the TWAB. So there it is. Real quick before we jump into Telesto talk, because I'm actually kind of stoked for that talk. Put the image there. I want to talk about the Iron Banner real quick because I have thoughts. I really, really wish, because a big thing that they've talked about a lot, that they've stressed at a lot, is the player populations for event weeks. I wish that Iron Banner would just replace the weekly Crucible Rotator. to me that makes more sense than anything, you know.
I man, that's such a touchy fine line though, because you get people who don't want to play that game mode, and
you have people that don't want to play momentum control.
For sure, but there's always control.
Yes, I agree.
So it's just
I just feel like they're stretching out the community at a time when the player numbers are already down greatly.
No, I agree.
Like they're down greatly. And again, there's literally, and I know maybe people don't realize this yet, so let me go ahead and make it very clear for everybody. There's literally no reason not to play Iron Banner, considering it's not power level anymore. It's the same as everything else.
Yeah. And I mean, that makes sense, but you're always going to have the naysayers like, oh, I'll just play the normal thing, or the new lights are like, I don't understand what Iron Banner is, I'm going to go play the normal thing. So, I mean, yeah, like you said, the player numbers are down, but I mean, that was going to happen. We have a bunch of 13-year-olds that joined from Epic Games to play for a little bit, and they left. That's how that works. But they really alienated their long-term casual fans by doing a bunch of changes to benefit the short-term game. You saw some good numbers, like a person who maybe gives up pop for a week and only drinks water, and they lose all that sugar out of their system. But it's not a meaningful change. That stuff comes right back. Without you consistently working at something to achieve an end goal, everything you do is going to be a moot point, because it's going to roll back to the way it was, because you didn't actually fix a problem. You kind of just threw a blanket over it.
Right.
So.
Maybe. Speaking of throwing a blanket on it, Telesto. Now, it's been a couple of years at this point since the last community event. Okay.
What community event?
The last one that we had was the Traveler repairing himself. I don't think that was the last. I'm trying to think. I know the one Christmas event, it was considered a community event, because if we did so many things, we got the extra prizes and gifts. Yeah, no, that's I mean, that's cool. Whenever I say community, okay, that's one thing. More specifically, a live event. Okay.
So yes, live
specifically
event, yes,
would be a live event. Okay. Now, I also consider partly the quest that we had to unlock Bastion kind of a live event, because everybody had to participate through that. Not everybody, but people participated, and the moment it was done, Bastion was unlocked for everybody.
Right. I mean, you could say the same thing for a raid or
I know, but I'm specifically talking about an actual, just like an event, right? Not a raid. I'm just saying we haven't really had anything like that in a while. And those things are fun. I think everybody agrees. Those things are awesome.
I just remember, what was it? The season of the, it was like right when COVID first happened. I think it was when the Traveler was repairing itself. We had to go do those missions where we were bringing down the satellites for Rasputin.
Yeah, that was a couple of months before Traveler healed himself.
And I know everyone hated that.
We
were shooting down the
we were doing those
or whatever it was.
Public events. Yeah, we were setting up those public events.
I know people hated that. I know people hated what was it? There was for the last couple solar fragments were locked behind people doing like 1 million nightmare containments.
Yeah, that
I mean,
one.
We've had community, so I guess that's what I'm trying to get you to clarify. Like, we've had community events where
that's cool and all, but nothing significant came from those, right? And maybe nothing.
I would venture to say like fragments are meaningful,
but those were there. We could even see them. We just couldn't.
Right.
We just couldn't access them.
Right.
To me, that was more frustrating than anything. I get what you're saying. I do. I don't really I don't really know how to separate,
explain it better.
The bringing down the Almighty, the repairing the Traveler, the Bastion quest. At the time, I think this was before you came back, dude. There was, maybe you've looked into this before, but like Glad and some of his crew, are the reason that we have Izanagi's Burden. Like,
Yep. Did you remember that?
like that was like a whole thing. There was the Whisper mission. That was a whole live thing. Once the first crew got in there and got it completed and figured out everything, like we were able to.
That for Shattered Throne was the same way, wasn't it? They would release the raid once a guy did it completely solo flawless, and like, okay, here we go, and then. Or they made it easier to get into the dungeon.
They did, yeah. They did. There was something. Yeah, there was something involved there. There was. They did like the entirety of the Dreaming City. Whenever after like the raid, every week the Dreaming City changed, and like it went through this whole thing, and people had to figure out like some of that stuff was pretty cool, but like on that scale, we haven't really. I don't really consider having something that's there. You just have to do X number of public events.
So I guess the probably the best way to explain it would be there are scripted events where this is going to happen. It's a guarantee. Like, we're going to drop this weapon for you guys because it's available. We put it in the game. You're going to get these fragments because you just have to go do this thing. Everyone's doing it anyway. You're going to end up with it.
Right.
Okay, cool. Done. Then there's the secret stuff that they want the community to do to unlock an optional extra.
Right.
That would be what I would be classifying what you're talking about.
Okay.
Versus like scripted things that are like, these are guaranteed to happen.
And I'll even separate because no, I don't think anybody liked the Warmind public event that they had to do to take down. But everybody loved the live event itself. It was their first time doing it.
Yeah.
And it took like forever. Freaking 4 hours.
Yep.
I remember I was at work that day. I took my laptop to work with me that day, just so I could participate in this. And like, and you had the Almighty and stuff was going on. It was happening so slowly that you couldn't really tell. And then the same kind of thing happened with the Traveler. The Traveler didn't take as long, but with the healing itself kind of thing, like that was something that people were. And that's a live event that was scripted. Is how I would go ahead and say that. Like that was a guarantee this is going to happen. The stuff with what it seems like Telesto and like with Izanagi's Burden and everything else. And I don't know, even I probably would say like they wouldn't go through all of the trouble of making dungeons and all that stuff for it not to be a thing. I feel like I don't know, like we could, like the community itself, if we didn't do something or we missed out on it, we could probably miss out on an emblem or a shader or something. But if like it's really big, like a gun or something, like they're gonna keep giving us hints until we get it, right?
Which I think the community has gotten pretty lazy about, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because Destiny 1, you had to learn binary to unlock Outbreak Perfected.
Yeah, that was a big one.
So I don't foresee that of not have. I feel like somebody got handed a card and said, "Hey, so this gets done." The
way they did the Izanagi's quest, where each different forge weapon, your named forge weapons, not your reskins, not yours, but your named forge weapons could see different symbols within that room.
Yes.
I remember aiming down sights, that was really cool. That was really genius. But as you're saying, you didn't really have to do much else, besides have those weapons equipped, and on you. I agree with that. And then the Bastion one, like it ended up like we were kind of made to believe that there was this like totally random path that you had to take to magically get to where like that whole room was, but it ended up being a pretty linear path, that you could take every time. And that was pretty cool though. But it's like, there's no exotic reward. We know that, right? There's not. Telesto's already in the game. It's already got a catalyst. So what exactly is this going to do? Nobody knows. And it could just be nothing. That's what Bungie is saying, but I really think they're hyping it up for a reason, and they're just trying to play it off right now like it's not. And also, let's not forget, they gave it to Banshee this year. Banshee at the towers, holding on to Telesto.
Yeah, there's honestly a lot of speculation you can do about this, And the fact that we don't see anything in game right now means literally nothing to me because we're in the middle of November and December is when the next season launches. We've got about 3 weeks left.
Yeah.
So if this joke keeps going on for 3 weeks, where they're just kind of like getting the community riled up about it, like there's a good chance that something could drop in the archive or in the data when season 19 drops.
I can't remember. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say they already slated like what was it, 30 guns, 30 exotic guns for reworks and like rebalances. Like I believe they said 30 exotics, so it could be armor as well. But they said 30 exotics are going to be getting some tuning to go along with some of our new subclass verbs. So maybe Telesto is going to come out with something great, or maybe they're going to do something about it, or you never know. There is a lot of speculation that can go into this, but until I don't know, I believe that people would have a little bit more time on their hands than myself.
For sure. I don't know. I would like there to be something. I don't want this to just be nothing. Because again, that's something like things like that bring the community together.
Yeah. I see that.
It's all good fun. But yeah, there is all that stuff coming down the hatch, like you said. And there is still, it's in, I'm not going to give away too like spoilers or anything like that, but there is still, it's been data mined, like there is still something coming up. This is why everyone's expecting some kind of community event. There is an item in the game. This is the only thing I'll say. There's an item that has yet to be revealed called a captain's coin. We're supposed to collect X amount of them to do something with, and it leads to a reward. I won't even say what the reward is or anything like that, but we haven't seen that yet this season, so clearly there's something.
Yeah, and I'm assuming it's going to drop within like the last 2 weeks of the season. Just
to get 2 weeks,
back in the game, kind of get everyone ready to go. Honestly, if you're kind of sleeping on it right now, this is the time to go ahead and just hop back in the game, grind your stuff out, make sure everything's in its place.
Yeah, no, do it right now. Go get in GMs it's time to do GMs right now. Double loot, and an easy strike.
Oh, for sure,
the easiest.
So after let's say out of all of that and stuff, there is a lot that like this. There's the last 3 weeks of the season. Like there's a lot to do as far as just kind of getting prepped for for season 19. Honestly, I'm probably gonna do a vault purge. I'm gonna go through and make a couple builds. I'm going to clean up some stuff because I have a lot of crap just sitting in my vault. I've got a lot of max level weapons and items that I'm not using that I need to either infuse or just trash. Just kind of clean up the space. I think I'm missing like maybe 2 weapons out of everything in the game right now. That's
impressive.
So I just need to get rid of all the rest of those. So yeah, I'm ready for next season.
Yeah.
Next season will be a little bit, next season I've got a lot of stuff going on between all of December and into February. So, but man, the hype is on for Lightfall. I know they're going to be talking more about Strand in the months to come. I know we're probably going to get some teases for the raid and some other good stuff. Always hyped about the Christmas stuff. Loved last year's Christmas armor. I'm looking forward to it. They always do. Space Grandma is where it's at for the cookies, man. I hope they never get rid of cookies.
It's a good time for Bright Dust.
That is a good Bright Dust farm, baby.
Yeah. Good.
I'll log into all 3 characters for that.
I got that to look forward to. I was able, I didn't have to pay a dime for any of my Halloween sets, my mecha sets. I was able to use Bright Dust for all 3 of them.
Same.
Stoked for that. I'm broke now, but but that's cool. I'm interested to see with Lightfall. And I hope you understand whenever I say whenever Beyond Light came out, Stasis was kind of half-assed, you could say, and what I mean by that, I'll tell you what I mean by that. Not necessarily the subclass itself, but the way they did the weapons. Because they released one weapon. It was that heavy grenade launcher,
which no one uses.
But it did have a purpose within the campaign to do some stuff.
Well, not even campaign. It was like the story after.
Yeah, it was the after.
To help you unlock your stasis.
Right.
Which I really feel like they need to go back and give that exotic some love because it's
piss poor. Yeah. But anyways, staying on that, it'll be interesting to see, because after that, it was months later, after Beyond Light came out, they're like, okay, here's your first stasis weapon. And I really felt like they had an opportunity to do that with the Christmas weapon that we got after Beyond Light, Glaciocasm. I was like, if there was a weapon like that was made for stasis, it should be like Glaciocasm. Makes a lot of sense, right? And I remember being frustrated. I was like, but it's void. Oh great, another high impact void fusion rifle. I don't need that.
Right.
Cool. Whatever. And then a little bit later, I think the actual first stasis weapon was Aya's Luna. Legendary.
Yeah, there was. I'm trying to remember, because I know it wasn't the first season. It was because it was the season of the Hunted, and then there was the season of something else afterwards, and that was when they started dropping. Because they said they were going to bring stasis guns into the game. They just wanted to make sure that stasis itself was balanced before they began doing that. Which I imagine.
Okay, no, Strand. It was not. No, that's right. Aya's Luna came later. It was right before that. Vulpecula, that hand cannon.
Oh yeah, from the Queen.
Yes, the Queen. So there was that, and the Fractus shotgun. Those were like the first two stasis weapons.
What's hilarious is that means stasis and a primary slot did not show up in the game until the season before Witch Queen, because that hand cannon and drops from the Queen, that stuff dropped just before.
Well, so it's
been very recent that we've been getting stasis weapons.
Yes.
Which I guess it kind of falls in line with, like, they're trying to balance out the weapons, and they're still trying to do that. But yeah.
So I'll say all of that to say, and I think there's a possibility we may not even get Strand weapons as an archetype
for a while.
Well, if we even get as an archetype, or if it'll just be a subclass.
So I feel like here's my thought process. I think that we're going to get and here's what I think is going to happen. I feel like we're going to get crossbows. Guess it'll have the Strand.
Yeah, they haven't said anything about a new weapon archetype or anything.
Because if you think about it, like, instead of a bow being like, fast firing and stuff, crossbows could have like a smaller magazine.
They could have a magazine
and have a bit more punch. You could go like the big one, or you could do like an exotic would be a Kimboed ones, and just there's some fun stuff you could do with that. But like have crossbows be like exclusive to that, or have it exclusive in the kinetic slot, because you could coat like the string and that would shoot out different stuff. I don't know. There is stuff we could do with that. They honestly could be waiting for, because they could do. What if they did a Kasiriyama? For those of you who don't know what a Kasiriyama is, back the ninjas used it. It was a hand scythe, so it was like the size of a small wooden rod, about
with
that
the
long,
chain, yeah.
With a blade, and they had a chain with a ball on the end, and you would spin it around and you would snare something by its feet. You could pull it down and you'd stab. A Kasiriyama, as a heavy weapon, could be like the use of a sword where you're like spinning it. But I think that's only what they showed.
That kind of looks like the Hunter Super.
Yeah. So then never mind. But there is a lot of stuff they could be doing with that. Maybe we get longbows.
I feel so bad for Sam, because it's always it's the Hunter. It's great.
Yeah, but think like we could do longbows. We could do it would take special ammo. And that special ammo would make it so you could like really go for some heavy range. Or maybe there's a heavy weapon. I don't know. There is some cool weapons.
If they made a special
do with string.
A special bow, it better be one-shot headshots to the head. Like, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But at that rate, yes, it takes you gotta charge that thing. Like, it's gotta.
So what if this? All right, here's an exotic, Bungie. This is for you, okay? A strand glaive.
Oh.
That instead of shooting, you plant it, and it becomes a bow, and the string is Strand. You have to get so many melee kills to charge the strings, and then you can plant it, pull it back, let it fly.
Yeah, maybe. Interesting.
Big damage, big explosion, but then you bring it back into close range. So it's like a really nice. That could be fun.
I realize saying that like making special bows that can like one-shot headshot, like I already realized people watching that are like, well, that's just going to replace linear fusion rifles. Except hear me out. The problem with linear fusion rifles has long since been the flinch, and that's kind of been dealt with. Here's the thing: if you're using a bow, and I think this should honestly happen with bows right now. If you've never actually used a bow IRL, I have. I would probably not be able to maintain the hold on that thing if I'm being shot in the body. So here's my idea. You can make that really balanced by just making it. If you have something, ready to go and you get shot, you release it. You can't just hold it through the flinch. You release it. That's it. If you have something knocked and ready.
There's a lot of cool ideas I'm thinking of like right now. They could honestly make dart guns using strand. They could make a bunch of stuff, like a dart gun that did like next to no impact, but it applied status effects.
I mean, I can already imagine like a strand like special GL, that just makes like a cloud of poison, or something like that.
Or have like a net launcher.
Interesting.
As like a grenade launcher where you shoot it. Instead, it would basically be a souped up anarchy, except when you shoot it, you get hit by it, and it could apply poison, and it could slow your movement speed.
Sure.
Kind of give you like the witch's like fog effect. So you hit a target with it, and it slows them down. They're taking damage.
Cool. That's cool.
And they're trying to get away.
Yeah.
But if you want to make it balanced for PvP, be able to have the teammates be able to shoot the net off.
Yeah.
And to make it even more potent in PvP, that you just pinged that person on the map. If they were invisible, they're now visible.
Okay.
So like there are some fun things they could do with strand. There's I'm thinking of a lot of cool ideas for things. There's lots, and I could sit here and keep going. I keep brainstorming.
I just want to say there was a point in time where Sam was all like, "I want an auto rifle. It's like a real auto rifle in real life, but getting kills loads a grenade. Get this, it's a grenade that matches your damage type or something, and then you shoot the grenade." So he said that, and then what did Bungie do?
Bungie made it.
Only it's a little better. It shoots rockets too, but like,
I mean, they can't take all of my ideas.
That would be copyright infringement.
So here's some fun ideas. Get like a net launcher. I don't know. There's some sick ideas, and honestly, I can think of several more. But yeah, I mean, I would love to see a Kimbo, like a Kimbo crossbows, and like had like 5 rounds apiece. It was like, so nothing like crazy detrimental. Have a really piss poor reload speed. Have some good impact, but like it's just, I don't know. There's lots of fun ideas I'm thinking of, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of speculation we could do about what Lightfall can bring and what we're gonna see happen next. I am very excited for next season when they're gonna talk about weapon balancing. We're finally gonna get that arc armor that we were supposed to get this season. I want to see the new dungeon. I want to see, hopefully, it be like have some good armor. We've kind of talked about that briefly already, so I'm not getting further into it.
They kind of teased. They didn't really. Last week's TWAB. They kind of showed
the arc armor. Yeah.
The arc armor for the Warlock only.
Yeah, it looked good.
It looks. The only thing that looks kind of funny is the helmet. Everything else looked good, I think.
I mean, I already have my new helmet forever, so.
Right.
Looks like Batman.
That's true. That's true, dude. And you're going to have a grappling hook now. So
I know. I'm the knight.
I am the knight. That's great. Man. So yeah, we're only like 30 something minutes in. But yeah, short TWAB. Yeah, super cool. Hit us up with some questions. We want to hear from you guys. We love answering questions. We love doing the Q&A type stuff. That's really fun. We tend to just kind of bounce off of each other, but I know this is new, doing this on Thursday instead of Saturday. But again, as we mentioned before, we get this down on Thursdays, opens us up to maybe get some different kinds of streams going on Saturdays. So look forward to that in the future. But yeah, give us some questions. We would love to have an episode where it's a short TWAB and we can just say, well, now we have 20 minutes of questions. Yep.
Yeah.
So
and this Saturday that we potentially, the plan is we want to do with our Titan. We want to run some of this GMs and just talk about stuff. So that is on the table, and as long as I'm able to be home at the time we normally do the TWAB, I would love to do that. So it all depends on that, but stay tuned to our social medias, especially on Twitter and on our Discord, and we will let you know as soon as we know something.
100%.
But yeah, otherwise that's all I got, Ledge. Good.
I got nothing. I was just thinking, no, I got nothing.
Yeah.
I'm going to get out here and get dinner, get these kids fed. But yeah. If there's nothing else, guys, I'm Xcalion.
And I'm Batsam.
And there's Sniper. Hey, buddy. How's it going? Little late to the party.
We're about to sign off, buddy.
Hey, man. I'm so sorry. Well, at least it's a shorty. You can literally just watch this. Anytime. So... But yeah, that's going to do it for us this week, guys. We'll see y'all next week.
Yep.